Okay, good morning, everybody. Sunday. Let's begin our training today, session number 3. We're going to talk about your drive. So what do we talk about when we talk about a drive? What is it specifically that we're talking about, and how you can use this step in order to increase your production, increase your excitement in the business, get better results in the business, get people to be attracted to you as a real estate professional, and how do you bring your business to the next level. So with no further ado, let's begin the session. So just to understand what do I mean by your drive, we're talking about your why, and your why is what caused you from day one to join real estate. Number one, what caused you to not just join, but take action. So it's all about taking action. Top producers in our industry take more actions than other people that are not so successful. Obviously, if you want to be successful, you have to take action. And it really comes down to action. It's all about action. And it's been proven many times before that if you have a very strong drive, if you are highly motivated to take a specific step towards the future, specific step towards improving your life, people that are more hungry normally get better results, especially when we're dealing with sales in the sales industry. As real estate is, I mean, right now, you're looking at agents who do anywhere from one deal a year all the way to 500 plus transactions a year. What's really the difference between these agents? So let's talk about how do you really find your why. Which kind of questions should you ask yourself in order to find this purpose that you're on that's causing you to join real estate, it's causing you to go and take your business to the next level? So finding your why is obviously the most important key secret to any success in life, because if you're not motivated, you're not going to do what is necessary of you in order to become successful, right? That's fairly fair to say that if you're not really motivated, you're not going to take actions. If you don't take actions, you're not getting results. No results, meaning you're going to quit the business. 72% of agents who got their license in 2018 and 2019 actually dropped out of the business. And when people leave the business, it happens normally between 12 and 18 months term. So, or they jump in doing it part-time, or they just don't have enough drive to really study and do the self-improvements that we are recommending, and we are actually working on with you to make sure that you are becoming successful in the business and bringing your business to the next level. So what are we talking about here? Well, top producers have extremely strong and important why, and they know exactly where they're going, where they're heading, and what they wish to achieve from real estate. They know why they joined, they know what they need out of it. Therefore, when they put together a business plan at the beginning of the year, it's much more critical for them to achieve than someone else who doesn't really know why they're doing it. So many people say, hey, well, I joined real estate because I like houses or I like real estate. That's not a strong enough why. So we'll talk about exactly how do you really get to understand your why and why it's so important. So when your why is strong enough, meaning whatever is driving you to do real estate, whatever is driving you to join our industry and driving you to become successful in the industry, is the same thing that's going to cause you to be successful or fail in the business. So, the how to do the business, what should I actually do, is not as important as the why. And why is that? Well, the reason is if your why is so strong, the how doesn't matter, because you'll do whatever it takes. And we are looking at agents that do whatever it takes, that actually climb to the next level. Every year they grow their business, they manage to operate their business on very high levels. And then when you compare it to other people, they have less motivation. And we can even look at one agent, okay, a single agent that is highly motivated, someone who is really motivated, 1 year, and they achieve, say, 35 transactions, and then the following year, they achieve 18 deals. And when we have a conversation, the majority of cases, what we find is that most people are not motivated as much as they've been the year before. Something changed in their lives. Maybe they have, maybe they got burned out. Maybe there is less of a need to be successful. Maybe they just need a break. Maybe there's so many different maybes. Maybe circumstances changed and therefore priorities change. So when we're talking about the fuel within, we're talking about something that's driving you in a very strong way to become successful. Something that's driving you strongly to become successful in your business. And when you are driven strongly towards a certain goal, you can then become very successful in spite of yourself. What does that mean? Well, you're going to take action no matter what. When you take action no matter what happens to you is you become very successful, even though it's challenging, even though you're not getting results at the beginning, even though. So many agents who join our industry that are not getting results at the early stages of their career, they tend to quit. And when they quit, it's done. So why people quit, when we go into studying why people quit, is basically, if you don't have a strong enough why that's going to lead you to take big actions, okay? And then these big actions are leading you to get great results. And obviously these great results are going to lead you to take more big actions, bigger actions. So it starts by an agent, for example, starting to prospect, and they call 10 people every day. And after a certain time, they start calling 15 people and 20 people, and then they get results. They get a listing appointment, they go on the appointment, they take the listing. That agent tend to have a lot of motivation then to grow and take bigger actions meaning maybe door knocking, maybe calling for sell by owners, maybe calling expired listings, maybe, and the more you spend time on doing something, so each step in the way of success, each step you're taking is leading you to a bigger step when you achieve success. So the why, when you have a really strong why, for example, when I speak to an agent first time, why are you joining real estate? They tell me, I like real estate. I'm kind of tired of doing what it is that I'm doing. And I'm just wanted to, try it out. I sold my own house and I had some experience. So I'd like to buy some properties. And I think I'm going to, my license is going to help me do that. When people tend to say that, I would say that the majority of these people are not going to be successful. They might sell a couple of houses a year, but they're not going to be successful. They're not going to be top producers. They're not going to build a business. It's not going to be something substantial. It's not going to be an additional substantial income. Now, if your why of joining real estate was, I need 20 grand a year to pay off, my kids' tuition, school tuition, or I want to pay off my loans, or I want to buy a new car, whatever it is, someone joins, they have a part-time job, they do real estate part-time because they want to achieve a specific goal, that's okay. If that goal is strong enough. So for example, if you really want to pay off the debt, you will do whatever it takes to do that. Therefore, you will engage in activities that we tell you to engage in, and then you'll get results and therefore be able to make that money. So the why and the purpose, what I found from a lot of people who join our industry, that the why, the reason people want to become successful is what makes them successful. It's not what they do. It's how they feel about what they wish to achieve. It's how they feel about this sense of purpose, being on a mission, going from point A to point B. The importance of that is what's causing people to take bigger actions. And the ones who take bigger actions, because they have a bigger why. For example, one person says, I just want to make 20 grand a year. And next to that person is sitting someone else who says, I need and I want $250,000 this year because I have to pay whatever. I owe money and I need to pay, as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'm going to go to jail or they're going to take away my XYZ. So if someone has a bigger why, they will take bigger steps. They will need to create more volume. So the volume of real estate production goes hand in hand with your why. Okay, now your life is really a reflection of your why. All throughout, like all across the board, your habits is a reflection of your why. For example, someone who really wants to lose weight is going to start building habits of going to the gym, eating healthy, drinking water, etc., etc. That's a habit that people build in order to achieve a specific why, a purpose, a goal, a target. And same goes for your relationships. You know, many times you focus on your business and you really are not focused on your relationships. Therefore, your business is growing and your relationships are not. Your health, your bank account, your disciplines, your stamina, etc., your accomplishments. So basically, to achieve great achievements in real estate, in life in general, you really need to have a strong purpose. Like you need to understand what it is that you're trying to achieve here. What do you really want? What's the legacy you wish to leave behind you? Okay, when you pass from this world, what are you leaving behind you? And is real estate helping you achieve that? And if so, what is that? These are the kind of questions that need to be asked and, you know, obviously dig in order to try to really figure out what it is that you're trying to achieve. You really need to ask important questions. So when I study and I interviewed, guys, I interviewed thousands of real estate agents, thousands of real estate agents. The majority of people are kind of weak. That's why I always call the 97.3, 98.2, excuse me. Are you the 98 or the 2? So what is 98.2? 98 out of 100 people, 98 people are anywhere from small, you know, to kind of medium goals. And then 2 out of 100 have huge, aggressive goals. So it's obviously a small, weak why, weak goals, weak target, weak purpose brings you weak achievements. So if you're looking at your achievements in your life, like right now you say, okay, how long have I been in real estate? I've been in real estate 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. What are my achievements? If my achievements are not at a high level to what you consider high level, not me, what you consider high level, if your achievements are not where you want them to be, that means that your why, your purpose, is not big enough. You're not shooting high enough. It doesn't make you hungry enough to go out there and do what is necessary to get it done. Okay? And as it's written here, you can see, or even worse, no achievements at all. Many people join the industry. Many people, guys, more than 50% of the people who join our industry fail because they don't have a strong why. They just join, oh, well, I just wanted to get my license and see how it goes. And, you know, if one day I need to fall on it, then I will. But right now, I have a full-time job. I'm busy with this. I'm busy with family. I'm helping this. I'm doing that. The why of real estate is not strong enough. And the ones that have a strong why, they normally do everything we teach. They do everything, every single step. They walk through the path of success and they take it all the way to the end, achieving their goals. And then next year they reassess exactly what they wish to achieve. And then they grow from there. And each year with the mentoring, you know, it's all starting with, you come from school, you get your license, you sign up for mentorship, you start working, you're listening to these trainings, you come to the coaching, group coaching, and then you have your one-on-one coaching and start, you know, climbing, start taking action. People who take action are normally hungrier for the goals they achieved for themselves. What does that mean? They have a stronger why, stronger purpose. They're more devoted to the purpose and they're willing to do more than other people are willing to do. So every time a person quits something, anything, okay, specifically in real estate, it's directly connected to a small or a weak why, meaning, you know, the reason they joined the industry is not strong enough. The reason that they wish to make more money is not really strong enough. Okay. So there is another thing here that we should talk about, because some people tell me, Ron, I don't have this huge purpose. I'm not like, you know, one of those people that is driven by this purpose and a goal. I just want to pay my bills. I want to have a good life. I want to be comfortable. And I don't have this huge big why. What we talk about in that scenario, instead of having this huge why, we can talk about small pieces, small whys. Why, for example, because I want to, you know, drive a better car, because I want to pay off this debt, because I want to do this. And each one of those goals or targets is accumulating into something that's bigger. And then, of course, depending on how important each one of those goals really is what's going to determine if the person is going to take action or not. Now you can say, well, Ron, look, I'm here. I'm going to school. I got my license. I joined the company. I'm starting to do this. I'm getting in action. etc. But I'm also busy with other things, and it takes time, and I called some people and they didn't call me back, and I have to do some follow-up. I'm still following up on this, following up on that. That conversation shows you that the person is not really hungry. Because if a person is hungry, this conversation doesn't take place. A different conversation will take place. There's a lot of action, guys. At the beginning of your career, you really need to take huge, massive amounts of action. And if you join and you have a full-time job and you do this part-time, then your weekend becomes a real estate weekend where you really need to take huge steps towards generating leads. And therefore, you need to really spend hours on the weekend. I'm talking about minimum 10 hours between Saturday and Sunday that you need to prospect and try to at least contact 10 people per hour. That will give you 100 leads per week, which is 400 leads a month. And 400 contacts, give you 100 contacts per week, 400 contacts per month. And from 400 contacts, you will get something. Someone wants to move, another person's thinking about selling. This one wants to get a price on her house. This person is selling it, but he doesn't know which agent he wants to work with. The other one just tried to sell and he couldn't sell. Things will pop up when you do all these contacts. Massive amounts of contacts equal massive amounts of leads. Massive amounts of leads equals massive amounts of appointments. Massive amounts of appointments equals massive amount of contracts. Massive amounts of contract equals a lot of money in a bank account. But it all starts at the top. What's the top? The top is hunger. The need to improve my life. It has to become something that you're really hungry for. If you're not really hungry for it, it's not going to happen. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of key questions that you need to ask yourself. These are the questions that you really need to focus on asking. You need to really sit down, take a pen and paper, write each question down quietly when no one is around you. You can't be distracted when you do these things. So you got to sit down, ask yourself all these different questions. Now, first question you got to ask yourself, what was your number one reason for joining real estate in the first place? Like, why did you decide to go to school, get your license? What was it? Was there something there that you really wanted that you don't have in your life right now? What is that thing that you want? It can be something you want to be or become. It can be something that you want to do or something you want to have. Write those things down. Spend some time thinking about that and then dig deeper. What do you want to achieve or what do you need to achieve? Let me explain the difference between the two. I want to drive a Ferrari, but I need a car right now that's not going to break down while I'm on my, driving to an appointment. Those are two different things. I need a new car or I want a new car. I want a Lamborghini, but I need, a Chevy. Okay? These are two different things. What do you want and what do you need? So you want to start writing things down. Well, here's what I need every month. I need this, I need that, I need this. My children need this, my parents need that, my spouse, my friends, my this, my community. These are all the things I need. Great. What would you want in addition to what you need? What else do you want? Well, I'd like to change this. I want to drive a different car. I want to move to a different neighborhood. I'd like to take my kids to vacation in the summer. I want to, help my parents, my neighbors, my this, my that. So the next question you want to ask, question number 3, is why is that so important to you? Why is what? Why is number 2, whatever you wrote down at number 2, why is it so important for you? And then you really need to start, digging in. Like, why is it important for you to drive a different car? Why is it important for you to help the community? Like, why is that? What's that going to do to you? And you need to really dig in, ask these questions, find the answers, and write them down. So there's a lot of homework, a lot of digging. This is a work that you need to do, or you do this at nighttime when everybody else is sleeping. You actually sit down somewhere in your house or apartment. You just sit down with yourself quietly and you start writing these things down. And you want to do that at least for 1 week, because this is not an exercise for 5 minutes. If you're sitting with these 8 key questions and after 30 minutes you're done, it means you're not doing it correctly. This has to, make you dig in, ask more questions, understand exactly what's going on. Why do you want these things? Like, why is number 2 so important to you? Why is paying your debt so important? Well, because if I pay my debt, then I can start saving. And if I can start saving, then I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. One is important for me because it's been a long time since me and my spouse went on vacation. We need to be together and strengthen our relationships. Therefore, I need, number one, to improve my relationships. And if I improve my relationship, I will feel better. My spouse will feel better. My children will feel better. Everybody around us will feel better. Great. So, which means number two will make you feel better. So the answer will be, I would like to pay my debt so that I can go on vacation. When I save some money to go on vacation with my spouse, when we go on vacation together, we will improve our relationships. Therefore, it's going to improve our relationships as well with our children, neighbors, community, parents, etc. Therefore, the wave, the butterfly effect, is going to also go to other people. Everybody will feel better. Everybody will have better relationships, be more in peace, etc. That's how deep you need to go with these questions. And then number four, what are you willing to give in order to achieve number two? What are you willing to give in order to achieve number three? These feelings of greatness, feelings of peace, feelings of success, prosperity, achievement. What are you willing to give in order to achieve that? What are you willing to give of yourself? What are you willing to give of, for example, money? How much money are you willing to invest in that, in the success of that? How much are you willing to invest of your own time, focus, prioritizing, training and coaching, and digging in and studying and improving yourself and asking these questions and participating in coaching and improving yourself and improving yourself and improving yourself, so your business is improving and growing and growing? What are you willing to give? Or you can ask, what am I willing to give up in order to achieve that? For example, I'm willing to give up some fun time so that later on I can have more fun. I'm willing to give up, going on vacation right now. I'll take this money and I'll put it back in my business and do more postcards. What are you willing to give up in order to achieve the success you wish to achieve? The hunger that you have, this purpose, this why, the fire within that we're talking about in this particular video, is talking to you about what are you willing to give up in order to achieve it. And if you're not willing to give up much, then obviously you don't have a strong why. When you don't have a strong why, you're not going to be able to achieve high levels of success, because real estate, although sounds sexy and easy, trust me, it is, although it's simple to do, it is difficult to do. And most people don't do what it takes to become successful in any business. No, I'm not talking about just real estate here. You're an independent contractor. Therefore, your broker cannot tell you what to do. You are free to do whatever you want. And because you're free to do whatever you want, you're probably not going to do it. Unless what? Unless your why, unless your drive is strong enough. And in order to strengthen your drive, you need to ask yourself these questions. Question number 5, what will happen if you will fail to achieve number 2 and number 3? What's going to happen to your life if you fail to achieve it? You got to really think about this. Like, whatever brought you to this moment in your life, this moment, what do you have in your life? Circumstances. Do you like your life? Are you super happy with it? Or there are certain areas in your life that you wish to improve? Whatever brought you to this moment is not what's going to bring you to the next moment. Whatever brought you to this, to the circumstances, to wherever it is you are right now, how much money you have in your bank account, how much money you have in investments, how many properties do you own, how much residual passive income is coming in case something happens to you, you are secured. Like, what is the security that you have? If that's not enough, then you have to think about this question number 5 very seriously. What will happen if you fail to achieve success in real estate? If you're not going to be successful, what's going to happen? Well, if I'm not successful, I will have to go back to my job and I really don't want it. So great, some pain. So, and start writing down the stuff that's coming up. That's really the exercise that needs to be happening here at number 5. Asking questions, looking at the answers, feeling what it feels like and writing it down. Okay, guys, you don't need to share this with anybody. This is just for you. So you don't need to be, scared about writing things down. It's best if you do that just to get everything on paper. It's going to also help you to figure out like how to grow your business. When people want to grow their business, normally it comes down to the why. The bottom line, like at the end of the day, it's the why that's causing you to do or not do enough. Number 6 is what will happen once you achieve it. So number 5 says what will happen if you don't achieve. Number 6 says what will happen if you will achieve. And now you need to start writing down what's going to happen if you achieve success at the levels that you wish to achieve. If it's 100,000 a year, $150,000 a year, whatever money you want to make, $250,000, $500,000, 2 million, 3 million, depending on, it all depends on you. It's your goals. Nobody else is judging you. Okay. It's all up to you and it's all yours. So what does that mean? That means that you are the one in control of your why. No one else can convince you to have a drive. Like I cannot convince you to have a drive. I cannot convince you to want more than what you already want. Only you can do that. And trust me, if you're not gonna be like super crazy hungry for better life, then real estate is not gonna, be, very valuable in your life. For me, look, I was a truck driver before I became a real estate agent. I was a mover. I had to, pick up furnitures on my back and go up and down, 4 or 5 flights up in New York City, working like, from 5 a.m. until sometimes 1 a.m. I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I did that for a year and a half. I had back problems already starting to have. So my why to move away from that was so strong that when I got involved in real estate, I did whatever it took to become successful. And I always drove myself to the next level because I was hungry for a very big picture. I wanted success. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to be comfortable in my life. I wanted to help a lot of people. It wasn't just about myself. It was about the life that I wanted to create around me and how much I wanted to help the community around me, etc. What is your why? What's driving you? What drove me to go from a moving company into working in real estate to joining a commercial division? I was 23 years old. Everybody around me was at least 40 plus, very passive, working slowly. And then the next division next to that was a condo sales. A lot of young people were there. And then the rental division, a lot of people there. But the commercial was very, mellow. But I had to go in with a different energy because I wanted to create a lot of volume. So I got on the phone and I made, between 80 and 100 phone calls every day, calling. That's all I did. I just came into the office and started calling people. Why did I do that? Well, after 3 months, I got a listing. The listing was over $3 million, 6% commission. And I sold the building with the first day I brought it in. I already had a buyer. We secured the deal and got paid after a month and a half. Think about that. That was my first deal in real estate. I was very hungry, guys. So the hunger for what? For success, for a better life, for money, for helping people, for getting out of debt, for getting out of a situation, for bringing yourself from one place to another, from point A to point B. That all has to do with your why. You can ask him, Ron, what do I need to do? I called it for sale by owner, I know what to say. I used the script. I called the FISBO, and I didn't really get good results with it because the FISBO told me a couple of things. I didn't know how to handle objections. Guys, that's the how. The how doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because you will do whatever it takes to improve on your next call. And you will call so many for sale by owners that by the time you're calling the 500 FISBO, you will already get appointments done because you are failing forward. Yeah, one person hung up on me. Yes, the next person said, I'm never going to give you a listing. Yes, the next person said, I just want to sell myself. Don't call me anymore. Yes, the next person, the next person, the next person. The 127th FISBO that I called said, you know what? I'm kind of tired of selling it myself. Why don't you come over and show me what you got? Okay. I got myself a listing appointment. But I was hungry enough to make 127 phone calls to get to the one that told me, why don't you just come over? So who is successful in real estate? The ones that are more hungry. Those are the ones that achieve the highest levels of success. Now, there are many different things that can stand between you and success. The biggest one is ego and wrong prioritization. When people prioritize wrong, they fail because they just don't prioritize right. What's the first priority that I should have right now? I tell you the truth. The first priority you should have is to take this homework and do those 8 key questions the entire week. Don't stop before you get to the bottom of this. And you got to have all 8. And if you don't have like at least, guys, if you want to know if you do this correctly, You got to have at least 5 pages filled with stuff like answers. Page number 1, here's all the questions. Page number 2, and you keep writing. Things should come out of you on paper, and then you start reading what you wrote, and that's going to give you a very specific and clear picture about what it is that you're trying to achieve, and you will feel it in your belly if you get fired up about it. And you will also feel it in your belly if you're not fired up about it. It's just going to be like, yeah, if I achieve it, it's great. I would like to have this life. It would be great if I can achieve this level. But it's not really the conversation you should have when you're fired up. So question number 6 was, what will happen once you achieve the goal? And then question number 7, how do you feel about achieving it? Like, what is the feeling that you now have after you achieved the goal? For example, if this year you want to do 30 transactions, which means you're going to make 200,000. Okay, let's say you went over the year, you actually achieved 35 transactions and you made $235,000. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about achieving it? You did it. You went from point A all the way to the end. You finished what you started and you achieved something. How do you feel about achieving it? And then write down your feelings. I feel great. I feel accomplished. I feel successful. I feel more relaxed. I feel more excited. I want you to write down all these different feelings and really get into this exercise. This is not an exercise where you're doing it passively, kind of writing things down, all passively, falling asleep while you're doing it. This should make you really excited. And the more you ask deeper questions, the deeper you get, the stronger you will feel about it. And that's what the why is all about. Number 8, if your why is strong, ask yourself, how come you haven't achieved the level you wish to achieve yet? If it's with real estate, with life in general, with your relationships, with your bank accounts, with your investments, with how many properties you own, with your passive income, with your securities, with the people around you, with everything, with your body, with A to Z. We're talking about all across the board. This is not just about making money, guys. It's about making money. It's about building better relationships with your spouse, with your friends, with your children, with your neighbors, with your parents, with everybody around you. This is about building a healthier body. This is about making healthier decisions. This is about prioritizing your life the right way. Choose to do now what you cannot do later. Get in action right now, sweat right now so that you can rest after. A very sad statistic. And if you do these statistics, I don't know exactly, you need to go on Google, but it's a very, very, very high percentage of people that are older than 65 years old and have no money, guys, to rely on, and they will be rely on welfare. And it is very sad. And what is causing that? You can say, well, the person wasn't lucky. Yeah, it can be, but the busier you get, the luckier you get. And I can prove that to you. If you argue with me, the fact that one person is luckier than the other, yeah, I agree with you that there is also luck in the game. But let me ask you a question. If a person gets, say, 9 out of 10, he calls 10 people, he gets 9 appointments. And another person gets 1 out of 10 appointments. Can person number 2 win person number 1 in the game of numbers? And the answer is yes. Here's how it's done. If a person gets 1 out of 10 and he calls 100 people, they get 10 appointments. If a person calls only 10 people, gets 9 out of 10, he gets 9 appointments. Yeah, but what if the first person does 100? We're not talking about that scenario. We're talking about if you have a problem in your life, there is nothing that you cannot achieve if you do it enough times. There is nothing you cannot achieve if you do it enough times. Here's the biggest problem in our industry. Nobody is doing it enough times. And the only people that do it enough times are 2 out of 100. That's why we always say 98-2. Because 98 people are never going to do everything that it takes. Some of them might do 10%, some of them might do 15% and quit, some of them might do 27%, some of them will do 57%, some of them will do 70%. But 2 people out of 100 will do whatever it takes, and it will go and achieve those goals. Now, If you look all across the board in any market, we're not just talking about Rhode Island locally or Massachusetts locally or Connecticut, we're talking about all across the board, all in throughout the United States, Europe, etc. You will find successful people and people who are not successful. The majority of people are not successful. The majority of people are not successful. Why? Because the majority of people are going to watch this video. Well, I should say it in a different way. The majority of people are never going to watch this video even. They might watch 5 minutes of it and move on. The majority of people are not going to take this homework and actually do the homework. They might do 1 questions 2 and then go to sleep and forget about it. So maybe 2 people out of 10, 2 people out of 100 will actually show up to the training, will actually do the homework, will actually get in action and get on the path of success. That's the ratio. So every time a person quits something, it's directly connected to a lack of purpose. If the purpose is not strong enough, if the why you join real estate is not really strong enough, then you're probably not going to be successful. You might make money, you might get 10 grand, 15, 20 grand. Look, making 20 grand in real estate is as easy as walking a dog in the park. Because if you're just going to do whatever, you're just going to do a couple of things every week, you will do at least 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions a year. Agents that do between 2 and 10 transactions a year, trust me, they don't do much. Okay, they just speak to a couple of friends, they go here and there, they want to open a house, my aunt called me, she wants to sell her house, and my best friend is thinking about buying. This is the kind of, conversations and what they're doing in order to achieve this. But the majority of people are not doing enough to become successful. So every time a person quits something is directly connected to a lack of purpose, and the lack of purpose diminishes every component needed for success. So if you invest in yourself and you're going to discover your why, and you're going to understand exactly what's your why, and if your why is strong enough, you will do whatever it takes. People that have a strong why, they find the way. Doesn't matter what happens to them. They will find a way to achieve their goal. And people that don't have that strong, why, they're not going to do that. So look at yourself, examine yourself, ask yourself these questions. Look at your behaviors. Look at your habits. When you have a meeting, do you show up on time? When you have a training session, do you show up on time? When you have a coaching session, do you show up on time? When you have, when you need to study, do you do that? Do you actually take it to the next level? Are you achieving an A? Are you an A student, an A+ student? Or you're just a C student just passing the test? What kind of a person are you? When you say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, are you losing it? When you register for a gym for 1 year, are you really going there every single week, couple of times a week? Are you finishing what you started? Are you a person that's finishing what they started? Because the majority of people are not. 98% of 100, 98 people out of 100 are not finishing what they started. 2 people finish what they started. These are the successful people. So we talk about 80-20 rule, Pareto principle. There's a lot of stuff in these sessions. Right now it's session 3. This is the end of it. Guys, if you don't do your homework, it's like nothing happened. This entire session goes to garbage. So here's the homework. Write down all these questions and do your homework. I left this on the screen while I was talking for a long time. You had enough time to write it down. I'm also recording this session. I'll send out the recording later on. And that's it. If you have any questions regarding this, you can feel free to shoot me an email at ran@circle100.com. We're not going to answer questions on these trainings anymore, just to keep it more like training. And you can show up on Tuesday morning call at 6:30 a.m. if you have any questions regarding this, or you want to share what it is that you've been doing with this, with the group. That would be great. All right. That's it. Be careful out there with the coronavirus. Make sure you drink something every 15 minutes. This is by far the most, here in Italy right now, people they found out a lot of different things about the coronavirus that they don't know in other countries. One of the things they find out is if you drink every 15 minutes, the virus cannot go to your lungs. It goes straight in your belly, and your acid in your belly is going to kill the virus. So just make sure you drink a lot of stuff. And that's it. Stay safe when you're showing houses. Don't shake hands. Just stay a little bit distant. And real estate is going to get stronger, in my opinion. Yes, panicking is going to cause some downturn to some markets, but I don't think we need to worry about it because people still need to move and people still need to own a house and buy a house and sell a house. It's not going to change much. So don't expect it to. It's just what you see right now is just panicking. But panic will go away and then people will go back to normal as they always do. All right, guys, good luck this week. Have a great, productive week. Do this homework, and I promise you by next call, you will be already more driven.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good stuff, Ron. Thank you.